There was a point in my life where I felt a little bit neglected because I was never personally hearing from God, and I felt kind of left out because everyone else around me seemed to be having some sort of spiritual insight or have some amazing God given gift, or maybe God talked to them daily, and I was just feeling so depressed by this idea that everyone else could do it, but I guess not me. And I was starting to lack faith at this point in my life. But it was Sunday morning, and I had just woken up, and I had this dream that I was running through the forest, and there were wolves chasing me, and they managed to catch up to me, and they started tearing me apart. It was pretty gory. And I was somewhat alarmed of this dream, and I looked it up on the internet, and I read about it, and I didn't necessarily believe what the internet had to say. So I proceeded to go to church with my family, and the opening verse of the sermon just happened to be Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. I am sending you out as sheep amongst wolves. At this point, I was like, wow, this didn't happen by accident, and I gotta make some changes to my life and my relationship with God. So I started to figure this whole thing out, and it was kind of hard for me to step out of my comfort zone, except that when I realized I don't have anywhere left to go because I was depressed, and on top of that I was indulging myself in a particular obsession that was not necessarily good for my mental health. And if God hadn't stopped me then, it would have just been a downhill spiral from there. After all this, I picked up on a few things, and just because God wasn't directly speaking to me or giving me an idea or showing me a miracle, it doesn't mean he's not paying attention. And that works for you too. If God hasn't directly spoken to you or appears to have done nothing in your life, then that doesn't mean he's not paying attention. God might be talking to you and you might not realize it. Maybe a particular song comes on the radio every time you get in the car, or maybe you're starting to question certain things, or maybe you have a desire to do something that you've never done that's totally outside of your comfort level, or maybe you've just been having some random thoughts that you know are not yours, and that's the amazing part about this, is trying to figure it out. At one point last year, I experienced this amazing miracle, but it was about a week afterwards I'd become lost again, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her how it was like God had moved on or something, and how I couldn't seem to find him again, and she said that he never moved, and that I have to reach out more. And when she told me this, I was a little bit skeptical, because at the time I had started to figure out, but then there was some sort of pause, and I needed to experience more of this, but I felt like I couldn't, like maybe there was some sort of barrier. But it turned out that she was right, and I don't really doubt her anymore. He didn't move. It was my heart that had moved away. And I was able to readjust and dive into the Word a little bit, and all of a sudden I started noticing things about myself and about other people and about the Bible and about everything else that I couldn't see before without God's help. And after that, it was definitely been a journey, and I don't necessarily know exactly where I'm going with my life, but I'll let God drive as long as he helps me to figure out this whole life thing. But God knew your name before you were born, and he made your story and everything in it. So if you're seeking God, then he will find you.